And we are back. Thank you so very much for staying with us. And in case you're just joining us, welcome to Kenya's Gold, better late than never. And today we are learning so much about mixed farming, which is an agricultural system that integrates growing crops and raising livestock in the same piece of land. Now, today we do want you to ask questions that you do have regarding mixed farming, because as promised, our expert, Mr. Henry Owuor, who is an agricultural science consultant, is here with us in studio again, ready to share more on the do's and don'ts when it comes to mixed farming. Thank you so much, Mr. Henry, for making time to be with us today. And I'll just start by something you said on a light note when you were on break, that when you were taking this course, I actually did ask you, it's a course in campus, right? It's agricultural science consultant. Ulisema mulikuwa wanafunzi wangapi?
We were 37.
Not a good number.
Not a good number. If you compare a course like human resource management, it's having over 200 students.
Kienda kwa business.
For business, there are very many, and very many people also like going for medicine or these courses. But when you come to agriculture, very many people tend to shy away from taking it as a course because they don't think that it is a profession that one can indulge in.
But we are changing that narrative one day at a time.
We are changing that narrative because right now there is a very big concern, and people are actually being educated that if you want to become a millionaire, actually the next billionaires for the 21st century and beyond are going to come from this field of agriculture and beyond.
Good. So there's hope.
There is
in
hope.
The agricultural sector.
Exactly.
Right. So we are talking about mixed farming, and it's a continuation of the conversation we did start last week. Na nataka utuambie, before you start out on doing mixed farming, there are those key things that you need to put into consideration first. Usiamke tu leo useme ngombe pale, kondo pale, skuma pale. You need to like think through a few things, a few very important pointers. What are those pointers?
Thank you very much. One of the key things that you have to think about when you come to mixed farming is about the integration of the crops and the livestock. So you have to think in that direction, that I want to do a mixed farming. We know that it is a combination of the two. So that one becomes the very important point in this one. In as much as you are bringing the integration, then we have diversification of the same. We bring as many animals and plants into this system as possible. So you also have to sit down and calculate the risk which are involved in this, because you are bringing different enterprises together. And there are risks associated with each different enterprise. So you have to know the risk involved, and importantly also, you have to know on the financial and the budgeting aspect of it. Because if you are not well planned on this area, then it can challenge you. And then minor consideration like the mapping of the farm. I know nowadays, because of the space, mixed farming is not only tied on the rural areas. There are those farmers who have engaged in urban farming and even rooftop gardening. So the consideration of the mapping of the farm also becomes a very important factor. And then lastly, when we are talking about the crops now, you have to consider about the selection part of it, how you will be doing the crop rotations. So that you can keep focus and to become on trail.
So you've mentioned finances. Mfuko wako is also a very big factor to consider. Speaking of finances, because for every business that you're getting into, you're looking at also making profit at the end of the day. So if I'm getting into mixed farming, am I supposed to also consider a short-term agri-sectors that can give me profits very fast? Zingine zita take time kwa sababu nikiingia pale nimeinvest, and I have mti ya macadamia, avocado. All these are crops that will take a lot of time before I start, making profit. So nafaa kujipanga aje na short term, mid term, long term, ndo nisinvest tu alafu nikwe frustrated nimekaa for so long without getting any money.
There are very also many factors which farmers tend to look into it. Number one is about the farmers' goals. Farmers set goals that, for me, I want to maybe concentrate in farming these particular crops. Maybe me, I will just be doing vegetables. a farmer who has made up his mind to just, concentrate on a particular crop will not be bothered into looking at those other. But also, we have something that we call market trends. This is what, in most cases, are even driving the farmers. A farmer will think that now, maybe tomatoes are in season and they're in demand. So maybe if I grow tomatoes, then I will be able to cash in more money. And then now, from that perspective, the farmer will have to make a decision. But now those ones, we find that they are just in the short runs. But in the long run, the farmer have to look beyond. If now I was talking about the market trends and the prices which are there for now, am I sure that it is going to be there? There are farmers to start thinking in a sustainable way, that even if today the market is gone, and maybe you find that in most cases, maybe the farmer planted late, and now the season is past. The farmer will be left stranded with the crop. So they have to start thinking in a sustainable way on how they can fit into this sphere without distracting any other things, and it really fits them very well.
All right. Kwa hivyo nisisikie tu tomato size inauza alafu mimi niamue niingia kwa hiyo tomato sasa, not knowing what will happen to the market trends in the next 2 or 3 months. All right. Thank you so very much for that. Now when we are going back to the farmer ambaye tumeona siku ya leo, he has different animals in the farm, lakini pia amesema yeye anafanya milking 4 times in a day, which for me that was like, wait, what? What? You know, because a lot of farmers they're doing 2 times. We've met 1 or 2 who are doing 3 times. So, as an expert, is it true the more you're milking, the more milk you'll get? Kwa hivyo mimi nijaribu kesho 5 times a day, pengine nitapata maziwa zaidi. How does it work? What is recommended, you know?
That is what most farmers think, that the more times you milk, the more times your production will improve. But in most cases, if the management is not proper, then you'll find that it is the reverse. Ideally, you should be milking twice a day. That is the recommended one. But again, in better management and ideal conditions, some farmers can do thrice in a day. So we have those ones milking mornings and evening, and maybe also in the night. So it depends on factors like, number 1, the animal health. We know that an animal who is in production, when he is healthy, then will be able to produce more milk. But if anything happens, there's a shift in the health status of the animal, of course the milk process will go down. And then also factors like the nutrition and the feeding, how you feed the animal, because these animals, they are like the machines which are able to convert the feeds and the grass that we give them to give you the milk that you want. So if you provide less, they will give you less. No matter how many times you will try, you will still not get the achieved quantity that you want.
Good. So what if I'm providing vizuri? Kama ni chakula, anakula vizuri. Kama ni animal comfort, anapata vizuri. So ni milk how many times? Can I go 3? Is that okay?
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay, 3. Great. So I believe we have a caller on the line. Brian, are you there?
Yes.
Habari ya Brian?
Jambo. Niko salama sana Violeta.
Aya, tuko na swali siku ya leo?
Niko na swali kabisa. Nilikuwa nataka kuuliza, nimeona hapo kuna mbuzi ambazo ni mzuri kabisa, ambazo ni za maziwa. So nilikuwa nataka kuuliza hapo mtaalamu wetu kuwa ni breed gani ambayo ni mzuri, ambayo inaweza adapt environment ya huku Wasingishu. Alafu pia ni feeds ambazo zinatumika sana sana, na nasema hizo ambazo sio zero grazing hizo.
Okay, thank you so much.
Alafu pia concerning ng'ombe, niko na ng'ombe ambayo suddenly ili become blind tu, macho iliturn ikawa blue. So ndio naulizia labda ni magonjwa gani ambayo labda ilisababisha hiyo.
All right. Thank you so much, Brian, for your questions, and thank you for watching Kenya's Gold. Aya, mtaalamu umesikia maswali ni ya goats na pia ni ya ng'ombe. Anasema anatoka upande wa Wasingishu, anataka kujua what breeds of goats would work well for that region? Tukiangalia climate ambayo inapatikana kule.
I believe Uasin Gishu is relatively cold.
Yes.
Yeah, so there are some breeds who do well in cold region because number one, cold or the wetness have a very high impact on the production level of these animals.
Right.
So some of the breeds which can do well in relatively cold places are like the Toggenburg. We have the Saanen. They can do really well.
Toggenburg and Saanen can do well. Lakini kama hiyo Alpine ambayo tumeona.
Even Alpine.
All right.
Even Alpine can do relatively well in the cold region.
Right. Yeah. However, the farmer today mentioned something like wakati wa baridi unapata the goats wanakuwa affected a bit more. Yes. So just in case you're in those regions, yes, you have the breeds that can, you know, survive to tolerate to some extent this climate. What extra measures can you put? Kwa sababu tumeambiwa goats na baridi. Left, right.
Left, right.
Yeah.
Number one thing that you need to do, you want to make sure that there is no wetness in the sheltering units of the goats. It stays dry and clean always. And then because also of the external temperatures that are there, you can invest in some of the modern technologies, or you just try to improve the conditioning of the house.
Right.
You can install maybe a heater to help the goats.
All right.
To avoid that stress from the cold.
Right. But the Toggenburg, the Saanen are some of the breeds.
And the Alpine, there are some of the breeds who can do very well.
Right. Is there a breed that you can say is a no-go zone? Useme hii wachana nayo kama unatoka mahali ambako kuna baridi. Is there a particular breed that you feel completely cannot tolerate this weather condition?
Not exactly. You just have to generally actually look at the health and the welfare of the animal.
All right.
And because these factors are majorly external, they can be modified.
Right.
So the fact that some of them are perceived that they cannot do very well in colder region does not mean that they cannot do.
Right.
With the proper care, you will be surprised that they can also perform extraordinary.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So just ensure there's no wetness in the shed, the structure for the animal. And also you can invest in some of the modern technologies such as a heater. Mahali ambapo wako. Right. So we are taking a break now, but there's still one more question from Brian ambaye alikuwa amesema ako na ng'ombe ambaye all of a sudden kama amekuwa blind, the eyes turned blue, so maybe utampatia advice what disease is that? Is it something hakufanya? You'll be telling us about that and more after this break. And also if you're watching and you have any question regarding mixed farming or the practices that you're having in your farm, please feel free to call us on 0742961343, and also you can drop us an SMS on 22422. See you after this break as we try answer your questions as much as possible. And we are back. Thank you so much for staying with us. We do want to continue with our conversation with Mr. Henry Owuor, who is an agricultural science consultant. We're also taking in your questions. The number to call us on is 0742961343. But before we read some more feedback that we're getting on our SMS line, we had left it at Brian's question ambaye alisema ako na ng'ombe ambaye at this point ni kama amekuwa kipofu, kidogo ni kama macho ikakuwa blue. Hapo shida inaweza kuwa gani? Afanye nini? Can we heal, treat this cow? What do we do?
There are a number of factors which come to play when we talk about the blindness in animals. So we cannot just single out unless we dig and we know. But most instances, one of the things which can lead to blindness in cattle especially is about viral infections or infection by diseases. Let's say a very good example is when there is infection of the bovine diarrheal disease, BVD, or even the foot and mouth disease. These are some of the things, if the cattle is having an history, then they can lead to the blindness.
Right.
Another instance, when you talk about a nutritional deficiency, for example, a very good example is the vitamin A. When it is lacking in the feeds of animals, then it can cause the blindness in the disease. And also maybe the environment when the animal is, things like trauma. or maybe if some are just genetics. When the animal maybe is having that DNA of the blindness, then it, at one particular time, then it will have to express itself. So those are some of the things that maybe could have contributed to the blindness in this.
Na hii stage ambayo imefika mpaka ng'ombe mwenyewe amekuwa kipofu, can we reverse that? Can they be treated, aanze kuona tena, ama mambo hapo imeharibika?
We can say hope is not all lost if it is not that advanced. For example, the ones which the farmer have the say in it, like when we come to about nutritional deficiency, like vitamin A missing in then the farmer can supplement that one in the feeds of the animal, so that one over time it can be reversed if the animal has not gone totally blind.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. So we have another question. Someone is asking, nauliza, goats wanatoa maziwa lita ngapi kwa siku?
Kwa siku? I think it depends with the number of times that you are milking your goat and even the care that you are giving to the goat. But ideally, between 6 liters.
All right, 6 liters.
6 liters.
Na hiyo ni kama una milk mara mbili. All right, good. So we are going to get to you talking to us about is there high demand for goat milk, but before we get to that, we do have a caller on the line, Mr. William kutoka Machakos. William?
Hello.
Hi, William.
Jambo.
Jambo, William. Na uko na swali siku ya leo?
Niko na swali ya kuuliza daktari. Kama hii ya feedlot, hii kama atanijibu feedlotting animals.
Swali ya feedlotting.
That is cattle. Yes.
All right.
Unaweka ng'ombe alafu unaifeed intensively. And some people say you feed for 3 months. It gains weight up to 100 kilos, meaning about a kilogram per day. Does it go that way?
All right. So akona swali kuhusiana na ng'ombe kwa feedlot, unaambia unaweka mahali unawafeed mpaka wanafika 100 kg. Does it work that way?
If I get the question right, is talking about feeding the animals.
Yes.
The quantity of the feeds, then the farmer assume that it will automatically translate into the product that the farmer decide. Yeah, to most instances that is true. But again, we need to dig down now into the nutritional content of the feed that you are feeding the animal.
Right.
If you just feed on a pure grass or maybe napier for this matter, we does not expect you to have the high quantity of the product that you desire. Right. But again, also the farmer is supposed to take care when we are feeding. If we overfeed the animals, then some problems or complications can rise, especially if the feed is not formulated right.
Right.
Yes. Right. Things like the bloat can come when you feed the animals on maybe fresh grass or napier that still have that wetness. And if you feed, the gases can build on, and that one also can mean that the animal will be suffering.
Right.
And even the desired quantity that you are projecting, you will not be able to reach it.
Right.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much for that. Tulikuwa pale kwa ile swali nyingine ambayo tulikuwa tumeulizwa ya goat milk, ukasema unaweza pata like 6 liters in a day. The demand for goat milk, is it high out there? Is it a venture ambao unaweza ambia mtu get into the business of dairy goats? Utapata your returns. Watu watanunua hiyo maziwa na watanunua kwa bei nzuri. Is that a profitable venture for now?
It is a profitable venture for now. Because number one, very many people have still not realized it. That's why even the demand for goat milk is high. If you are walking into these retail shops and then you compare the prices of the cow's milk, which is common as compared to this other, like the goats and even the camels, you'll find that the goats are fetching a higher price compared to this one. So if somebody is thinking in that direction, then it's very, very sure that the returns will be worthwhile.
Right.
Yeah.
Great. So there's someone else, Martin Mwendwa from Ukambani, Kitui. My question is, which type of goat breed can you manage in places that are very hot? I believe anauliza kwa sababu yeye mwenyewe anatoka Ukambani, Kitui, which is pretty much a very hot area. Aya, ulikuwa umeambia ule mtu wa Uasin Gishu what they can keep. So huyu wa Kitui, which breeds work best for him in a very hot area?
Number one, Alpine breed work relatively well, both in the colder environment and even the hot environment. Then we have the Nubian breed. We have the Somali breed, and even the Spanish goats breed. And even the Boer. Boer originally originated from South Africa. Those are some of the examples of the breeds that can perform extraordinarily well in hot or maybe arid places like Kitui and beyond.
Right.
Yeah.
Great. So there's another question here from Ramses who asks, how can I control diseases in my farm where I do have goats? Pengine utaanza kwa kutuambia what diseases would affect goats often, alafu sasa the control for it.
Diseases will always be a challenge in any setup of any enterprise. And that's why we are saying that it is always very important to monitor the health of the animal.
Right.
So some of the diseases that can affect the goats, we have the foot and the mouth disease, that one is obvious. The diarrheal infections that we were talking about, there are very, very many which can affect this breed. So one of the things that a farmer can do is to maintain general cleanliness of the environment or the atmosphere where these animals are. You make sure that the shadings, they are always dry, there is no wetness. And then you change them regularly. For those people who are using other materials like crop residues, you change them after a few days, and then you make sure that you clean and disinfect the place thoroughly.
Right.
And in case you are bringing in new stock, when you have gotten rid of the old one, then you make sure also you have done a proper disinfection or sanitation of the land. And then things like when we're talking about the foot bath, at the entrance or the access, it becomes very, because this one will prevent the disease which might be carried from outside into this particular enterprise.
Right.
And then there are some diseases which are also, we call them conditions, which are associated as a result of feeds, because they don't have the correct nutrition that will be needed by this animal. So you make sure that you provide a balanced diet to these animals. But most importantly, you provide adequate water to these animals at all times.
Right.
Yeah.
Wakikosa maji kuna shida.
Wakikosa maji kuna shida.
Right.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that you have insisted foot bath is not for chicken peke yake.
It is
Kwa
not
sababu
for
a lot
chicken.
of farmers do it on the chicken side. Hata kwa goats tuhakikishe tuko na foot
Tuhakikishe.
bath. All right. Thank you so very much, Mr. Henry. Because of time, we do have to wrap up our conversation there. It has been a pleasure having you again to talk to us about mixed farming and general key practices that our farmers need to consider in their farms. Now, as we wrap up this conversation, unajua tu ni wewe unanipatia answer ya farm joke, and I like the fact that you're laughing already. You knew the time is coming. And today we were asking, why is Saturday stronger than Wednesday? Kwa nini? Kuna mtu hapa amesema because Saturday is a Sabbath day. Na wewe unasemaje?
That can be true. Saturday is a Sabbath day, and it
What
is
does
also
Sabbath
the
have to
last
do with strength? Think strength.
If I think strength, then Saturday is on a weekend.
And Saturday is, and Wednesday is?
Wednesday is in the middle of the week.
No. Saturday is a weekend, so Wednesday is?
No,
You're almost there. I'm going to give you one more shot. So, Saturday is a weekend. So, what is Wednesday? Wednesday is a
wedding day.
I've given you all the clues I can. Just look behind you. Yeah. That's what I was telling you, because Wednesday is a weekday. Well, because Wednesday is a weekday. Sasa wedding day imetoka wapi jamani?
you can consider me.
All right. Thank you so very much, Mr. Henry, for being with us today, being very generous with your time and your knowledge. We say a very big thanks. And of course, our farmer of the day, all the way in Embu, thank you so very much for welcoming us to your farm. Our viewers, we appreciate you for always being with us every single day of the week, for your calls and your SMSs. We see them, we are happy, and we'll make sure that every single day of the week we're bringing experts who can guide you to make sure that you are getting agriculture correct, and at the same time you are enjoying the profitability of ukulima. Now, we do have to love you and leave you, but today being Wednesday, we are continuing the conversation on our X Spaces from 7 p.m. and today we will be talking to young millionaires who have made millions from the space of agriculture. If you want to find out how, tukutane pale Citizen X Spaces. See you tomorrow here on the program with a lot more. My name is Violeta Ngina. Goodbye.